Guys, animals. See, in college, my major is environmental science. So basically, my entire job is studying different species of animals. But because the job market today is still absolutely fried, I decided to bring my talents to One Piece. I wanted to do an animal related video because the world of One Piece, of course, has a wide variety of different species. And so, of course, we absolutely have to get into it. And we're going to do that by going over the top 20 animals in One Piece. But before we get into ranking non humanoids, y'all, please do something for me. Like the video, okay? That's very important. Subscribe to the channel for more One Piece content just like this every week. And share it around with all your friends who love this series. You know we always say here, let's get it going. Oh, make sure you subscribe to me and my boys over at CSY. We just made our grand return and honestly, we're kind of blowing up. Now to start us off, I'm just going to run down a quick list of animals that will not appear on this list. If any of these are your favorites, you can feel free to be shocked about them in the comments. Komachio, Sodom and Gomorrah, the Sea Kings as a general concept, the Lapans of Drum Kingdom, Vegapunk's Mecha Sea Beasts, Salome, Holy, and perhaps the most shocking, the News Coos. I'm sorry, I really rock with Morgan's birds, I really do, but no, turns out I don't. But speaking of birds that I do rock with, now it's time to get into our honorable mentions, of which there are 4. The first place is going to be a shared position for Eyelashes and Hasami, the pervy animals of Alabasta. Why was a giant crab and a camel obsessed over scantily clad women? I'm not really sure. I think Oda actually put a bit of himself in there. The second is going to the octopus balloon. Y'all know, the inflatable octopus that Luffy kept in his pants while they were going down from Sky Island? Say what you want, but he was useful, and in the anime, he's the one who got us the G8, the best filler arc there is. Number 3 is going to the category of the long animals. The ones that appeared on Long Ring Longland that are essentially regular animals, but elongated. Pause. So this isn't a dog, it's a dog. This isn't a horse. This is, you guessed it, a horse. It's just so stupid that I love it. Not enough to put in my actual list though. And finally, the ones who really just missed out on being on the list, the Warusagi birds. Do y'all remember these guys? These were the crane-like birds that pretended to be dead in Alabasta's desert so that they can steal people's belongings. I'm not gonna lie, it's something about that concept that is just insanely hilarious. It's that, and then look at this one's face. It knows that it comes from the streets. This is the face of somebody who's cooking up a diabolical plot as we speak. That closes out the honorable mentions, so now we can get into the list proper. And starting us off at number 20, we have Bibelo the Owl, who resides in the appropriately named Owl Library on Elbaf. First of all, he's just cool. I mean, he's chilling out in the library and everything. And then you remember he has a pretty interesting, honestly, devil fruit, which is the Grow fruit, the ability to allow other things to grow in size. So applications of that fruit? Well, we'll talk about it when we get to it in the Freeze by Group series. But also, he's a dub wingman. I mean, he's literally the reason that Gaban was able to hook up with Ripley. I mean, growing, and you see what I did there? Wingman, because you know he's an owl. All right, I'll just stop. Now, number 19, we're gonna give it to Randolph. Randolph is a rabbit homie made by Big Mom's Soul Powers. My whole thing with Randolph is, why couldn't he just have been a mink? Either a mink on Big Mom's crew, but even crazier, imagine a mink-human hybrid, and that would have been Randolph. Though then again, we're not really counting the minks for this list, so. But I mean, he was cool. I mean, he was one of the 3 headliners who was sent off to the different islands to get what they needed for the cake. All I'm saying is, you don't want to mess with that bunny, and that's on Bugs. Now, number 18 is gonna be Yokozuna, the huge sumo frog who was, for some reason, battling it out against trains. Obviously, we know the reason. He wanted to stop it so that he could save time. Cool, you're a frog. It's just something about the fact that he stood on train tracks and tried to box a literal locomotive that actually just renders me with joy. But I mean, he was cool. He tagged along with Luffy and them during the raid on Enies Lobby. Shout out Yokozuna. Now, 17, we have one of the goofiest animals to appear in the series, Piero. Now here's the thing, if you look at this, you would think that Pierre is a Pegasus, a very diseased looking Pegasus, but a Pegasus nonetheless. But that's where you'd be wrong. Pierre is a polka dotted skybird that ate a horse devil fruit. So in his Zoan form, he becomes a Pegasus, but it's just so sickly, and that's what Gonfall uses to ride on. I'm not gonna lie, just based off of the creativity Oda had to be like, you know what, I really could just make him a Pegasus, but honestly, let me do this creatively first. And then of course he did later on make Stronger, Doc Q's horse, the Pegasus, but we're not talking about it. Oh yeah, by the way, Stronger's not on this list. Now number 16, I'm giving it to Gamma. A lot of you may not even know who Gamma is. Gamma is the frog that accompanied Usopp and sat on his head while Usopp was pretending to be a toad oil salesman in Wano. And I'ma just say, Did anybody else want him to low-key become Usopp's pet? Like, I know he literally had practically zero screen time and was completely irrelevant to the plot, but come on, give Usopp a little buddy, you know what I mean? I mean, hey, what if you gave Gamma some sort of pocket dimension fruit that allows Usopp to pull things out of him like a hammer space? There, I just made him relevant. Number 15 is gonna go to the Banana Wani, or if you're English and illiterate, the Banana Gators. I ain't gonna lie, seeing the Banana Gators for the first time, especially how big they are, and the way that Crocodile had a bunch of them in his underground dungeon in Rain Dinners. On top of that, it led to one of the greatest Sanji scenes ever, which is when he saves the crew as Mr. Prince by using Bad Manners Kid Course and sending it flying into the air. I'm sorry, it was tough. Now I'm giving number 14 to Nola, the huge sky snake from Skypiea. And if you didn't know that the sky snake had a name and that its name was Nola, then I want you to raise your hands and then slap yourself with it, because you're not a real fan. She was one of Oda's more creative ways to get Luffy removed from a situation for an extended period of time. Obviously referring to when she ate him and Luffy didn't even know that he was inside of the animal for the majority of it, honestly. For number 13, we're sticking with Skypiea, because here we got the Southbird. I'm not gonna lie, the Southbird may have been one of the funniest parts about Skypiea saga as a whole, especially its dynamic with Zoro, the directionally challenged one. I mean, you had so much comedy with it trying to look away, but it's being forced to look in the south direction. And then even that stupid sounding maze, Nah, I'm sorry, I really do like the Southbird. Not as much as I like our number 12 place, though I'm sure that a lot of people are actually shocked that he's not higher. Because here is where I have Laboon, the huge island whale that the first 5 Straw Hats met at the Twin Capes. The one who's waiting for Brook to come back. The one that Luffy drew an incredibly horrid and horrendous Jolly Roger on. Yeah, that Laboon. I'm not gonna lie guys, I don't know if it's just me, Laboon's story doesn't move me that much. It just doesn't. I'm sorry. He's still cool as an animal though. And then it's the fact that Crocus literally painted the entirety of the inside of Laboon and literally is just like living in the whale. A very hilarious spoof on the whole Jonah and the whale story. Plus within Laboon is where we got one of the most comedic scenes in all of One Piece. The Crocus stare down. Number 11 is gonna be Tsurume, the Kraken. And I'm not gonna lie, after having just recently rewatched the whole Fishman Island log remake that they did, man, shout out Tsurume. He was just trying to chill, and then Hody started threatening his brother in the North Pole. But even after that, the moment that he met Luffy, man, he was free. And he was actually boxing. He knocked the hell out of Watatsumi. All I'm saying is add into the list of people liberated by the Sun God. Now kicking off the top 10, we have Camel. And no, not Eyelashes, who is a camel, but Camel, who is a penguin. Specifically, he's Aokiji's pet penguin that he got after the time skip. And we see it's so cute because Aokiji just uses him to ride across the water. I'm not gonna lie, Camel as Kuzan's partner Pokemon, I rock with it. And I'm just so upset because ever since Kuzan became a member of the Blackbeard Pirates, we don't know where he is. Oda, please tell me that the penguin is okay. Now for number 9, we may have to get to some monkey business. And now I'm not talking about Luffy, though some could honestly argue that he's just an animal in his own right. But nah, number 9 is going to Monster, the monkey of the Red Hair Pirates. The fact that a monkey became one of the senior officers on a Yonko crew is wild to me. Mind you, he outranks Rockstar. We also know that he's a musician because he forms a musician duo with Bonk Punch. And again, on top of that, who wouldn't want a monkey on their crew? I'm serious. I really do think that Shanks' crew has the most fun on the seas. Sticking with our Simian brothers, at number 8, we have the Human Drills, the huge war baboons that live on Mihawk's scary island. Of course, the whole story of them being so impressionable that after the war that happened on that island, they ended up learning to use the weapons themselves. Listen, that's actually pretty dope world building. The fact that one of them was even using a makeshift Yoru and was actually pressing Zoro during his training actually peaked. So just off the basis of the fact that they can fight and how tough they are, I'll give it to them. From here up on the list, fighting is actually probably going to be a large part as to why they're ranked where they're ranked. Not all of them, but some of them. As is the case for number 7, the Kung Fu Dugongs. Y'all, it's something about the Kung Fu Dugongs that actually just makes me really happy. Like, they're actually so funny. Like, why are they so obsessed with boxing? It doesn't make any sense. But if you're able to beat one, oh, they will be subservient to you. In fact, isn't there an Animals Pirates where it's just animals of the high seas? I'm pretty sure Kung Fu Dugong is the captain of it. In number 6, we're giving the shared position to the Unluckies, otherwise known as Mr. 13 and Miss Friday. Y'all, I'm sorry. It's just something about being able to say that I have a combat otter and a vulture with 2 machine guns strapped to its back, ready to deploy on demand. Mr. 13 at least is also a really talented artist, honestly, because that's how he was always drawing up, oh, this is who we have to go after next. And all I'm gonna say is I really hope that they appear to some degree in the live action. Are they the perfect candidates to get cut out of the live action? Absolutely. Does that mean they should? I hope not. Starting us off in the top 5, we have the Den Den Mushi. I think these snails go really underappreciated in the story. I mean, it's essentially the cell phone service of the One Piece world. And of course, Oda just had to take the concept of cell phone and just make it so much more interesting by making it psychic snails that can connect with each other on a psychic wavelength. But then you have all these different kinds of snails that all do these different kind of niches. I'm not gonna lie, I think I'm gonna have to make a dedicated Den Den Mushi video. Now, number 4 is going to Richie, Moji's pet lion on the Buggy Crew. Now, post time skip, Richie is kind of just like his owner, fat and useless. But pre-time skip Richie was moving different. He actually looked like a menacing lion, and he was listen, hey, he was boxing with Luffy. Was he used as a hype tool for Luffy to show just how strong he is? Yes, but also, it's still Luffy. But then of course the crowning jewel moment is the fact that he literally became captain of the Buggy Pirates for an extended period of time. The person who most people would say is either second or third in command. Not Moji, Richie's owner and the actual first mate of the crew, but the pet lion. Now we gotta shout out Richie. We're really getting down to the nitty gritty, guy, because now we got number 3. And I'm giving it to Zunisha. Y'all, it's literally the concept of the world turtle, but on an elephant's back instead. Maybe this is just me on a personal level, but I really am a sucker for the whole concept of a huge animal that carries some sort of civilization or something on its back. And that's why one of my favorite Pokemon is Torterra. I lied. Torterra is nowhere near my favorite Pokemon, but it's definitely dope. And then on top of that, it houses Zoe and everybody in Zoe, the minx. It's such a culturally rich land. The way that they use Zunisha's natural flows, of course, makes sense. Then, of course, you have the fact that on top of that, he was Joy Boy's old crewmate, and there's definitely a story there. And then the icing on the cake is absolutely decimating Jack the Embarrassment. Our penultimate spot is gonna go to Karu the Duck. Y'all, it's Karu. How can you not like Karu? Vivi's comedy relief duck companion. He is the leader of the Supersonic Duck Squad, so give him some respect. And he low-key locked in for the Battle of Alabasta. Remember, without him and the rest of them ducks, they weren't winning. But of course, at number 1, was there really any debate about who this could have been? Even though he speaks human language, we have to give number 1 to Tony Chopper. He's one of the main casts, so I can't even start to describe everything that he's done in the story. But just from his role on the crew, being the doctor, being the one to patch everybody up, to personality-wise being the crew's youngest, so he's like learning more about himself as he was watching the others. His whole storyline of going from not wanting to be a monster because he wanted to be accepted, to now when he's accepted with the people he loves, he wants to become a monster to protect them, all culminating in having one of the greatest pre-time skip transformations in the verse. And then of course on top of that, in a meta context, look at him, he's perfect for branding and marketing. If you ever want somebody to be interested in One Piece, show them a Chopper in some sort of seasonal attire. Is this Chopper glaze? Yes, it absolutely is. And I'll continue to appreciate Chopper, even though it isn't Chopper Appreciation Day. But that's my list of the best animals in One Piece, y'all. But as we know, the world of One Piece is vast. There are so many more. So if there's any that you think that I've left off the list and is crazy, definitely let me know about it. That is the end of the video, y'all, but before we go, like it, subscribe, share it around with all your friends who love this series, or anime and manga in general. I'm trying to build a community here, but I need your help to do it. That's gonna be all from me. I'll catch you on the next one, and always remember, One Piece, one life. Now if you'll excuse me, it's 3 a.m. I have to go to bed. I got class at 9:35. What is this life?